Good morning, students. So today we are up here with the new online classes video for class 6 English 2 chapter 3, and the chapter name is Sir Isaac Newton. I think most of you have heard about Sir Isaac Newton. Who was Sir Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton was one of the greatest scientists in the field of science and mathematics. Okay, he was one of the greatest scientists, you can say, or you can also say that he was the greatest scientist, or he is the greatest scientist also till now. Okay, so we have to study about him, that person, who he was actually, where did he came from, what did he did, and all about his personal information. Okay, personal information, not his scientific theories or theorems over here, because that you would be studying in the science classes. I think you have heard about the science classes, Newton's theory and all, but we are going to study the autobiography of Sir Isaac Newton. This chapter deals with the autobiography of Sir Isaac Newton. Biographies are of two types. First is one is called as autobiography, and second one is simply called as biography. Okay, autobiography is a biography written by the person itself. When the person itself writes about the personal information and the life events and data of its life on its own, it is called as autobiography. Okay, and biography itself is known as a data written for a life event or for a person by somebody else. If somebody else writes for the other person, it is known as a biography. So Sir Isaac Newton has not written his biography, that is known as autobiography. He has never written about himself. So obviously we are going to study about the biography that is written by somebody else. Okay, with his information of his life. So I can explain in little bit of words that what is autobiography or biography. A biography narrates, analyzes and interprets the events in a person's life. A biography narrates, analyzes and interprets the events in a person's life. So it can narrate you, it can personate you about the life events of a person. Okay, so we are going to start. Some information I have written over here on the board, and the board would be coming to you now. You can note down each and every information about Sir Isaac Newton from the board, note it down in your copies, and then take out your books to follow the chapter. Okay, so if you note it down this one, it would be helpful to you to understand. Okay, so now we are going on. We would be starting from the first point only. What is Sir Isaac Newton and his life was about. So we are starting from the first point. So born. First point is born. Born means birth. Where did he took birth? When did he took birth? That is 4th January 1643, Lincolnshire, England. Okay. From 4th January is a date and 1643 is a year number. So you can understand how much far from today's date. It is almost like 350 years or 370 years back from now. He took birth. And where he took birth? He took birth in a city called Lincolnshire in England. Died. He died on 31st of March 1727 at the age of 84, Kensington, England. Okay. He died on 31st of March 1727 at the age of 84. He lived a life till his age of 84. It was good life, sir. Till the age of 84 is a good life. Okay. Above 80 is a good life. And where did he die? He died in Kensington, England. Okay, very good. He died in Kensington, England. Every person who takes birth on the earth has to die some of the other time. So he died also. Resting place. Over here I have written one third point as resting place. Why I have written or what does it mean, I am going to tell you. A resting place is a place because he belonged to Christianity religion. Okay, so in Christianity, what they do, when the people die, they put it in the coffin and they bury it inside the ground. They don't lit up in fire their dead bodies. So the place where the coffins or the dead bodies are cremated or buried underground is the place named as the permanent resting place in Christianity or even in Islam also. Okay, Islam also they do the same thing. They also bury the dead bodies. So resting place where he is resting for permanently and still he is there, as we can call. That is Westminster Abbey, London, England. And that crematorium garden, or you can say mock garden, where all the dead bodies are kept and buried underground, is the place of the garden named as Westminster Abbey. It is in the Westminster Abbey, that is in London. Current place is known as London, you know that, and that is in England. Now, nationality. What nationality he belonged to? Whether he was Indian, whether he was African, whether he was American, Australian, what? He was actually English, because he took birth in England, he died in England, he worked for England, and as such his nationality is also English, that is England. Okay, and now coming to his records and everything. This was most personal data, that when he took birth, died, the what is his resting place and what country he belonged to. Now the fifth point is, that is known as known for. Known for point I have written means how he is known to people, how people know him, for what purpose people know him so much. Because of his work, sir. His work in the field of science and mathematics was so great that it led to a lot of scientific discoveries and everything, as we know. So whatever has been done, it was whatever we have achieved in the scientific discoveries, part of it, or even say maximum part of that, belongs to the research work done by Newton, Isaac Newton. Okay, so what he did and why we know him, as he worked for universal gravitation. He discovered universal gravitation, that is the gravitational force. Okay, he discovered the special way of calculation, that is calculus, mathematics. He is also known for his Newton's law of motion. There are 3 laws of motion, sir, that are the Newton's first law, second law, third law of motion. And he is also known for one of his greatest book that he has written. That book named as Principia. Okay, that book was named as Principia, and that was the book written by Isaac Newton only, and all his research work was written over there in that book, by which people take help and discover new things. Okay, and many more things, sir. He discovered many more things, but these are the main things which he discovered. So now coming to the next point, that is 6th point, that is notable awards. So we are talking about the period or the time, that is 1643 he took birth and 1727 he died. At that time, not such big awards were given like Nobel Peace Prize or something. Nobel Peace Prize came after that. Okay, so still there was some awards, but those awards are not prevailing now. Those awards have changed till now. So what are the notable awards he has won? First award is FRS. FRS is the short form, and what is it dealing with? It is Fellow of Royal Society. In England, what happened? Some people belong to the Royal Society, means the bigger families, and some people were commoners. Commoners means common families, common people. Okay, royal means royal, they are big, rich and everything, and common means commoners. So he belonged to a common family, but he got an award to join the Royal Society. That he was also being now counted as a Royal Society member and a family member of the Royal Society. Means counted along with the rich people and the great people of England. Okay, in 1672 he won that award in 1672. He also won the Knight Bachelor. Okay, in 1705. Knight Bachelor is an award given by the England Queen or King to its greatest people of the nation, and that was known as the Knight Bachelor. That time Nobel Peace Prize or other prizes were not given when he was alive. So he won those 2 prizes. After that, he is given everything. After his death, whatever award came, he got everything. But that time he won only these 2 things. Now, coming to his personal life, his father's name. There is a confusion, sir. A lot of people get confused on his father's name. But this is true. His father's name was also Isaac Newton. Okay. But now, as we know that he was also named after his father's name, so we can call his father as Isaac Newton Senior, and we can call Newton as Isaac Newton Junior, because his father died when he was in the womb of his mother only. He did not took birth also, and his father had died. And before, I think it was 2 or 3 months before his birth, his father died. That is why his mother named him as his father's name only, Isaac Newton. Okay. So his father name is Isaac Newton. In the brackets you can use Senior, SR, short form. And what was her mother's name? Her mother's name was Hannah Askoff. Okay. Her mother's name was Hannah Askoff. She was a good lady and she gave birth to Isaac Newton, sir. So she was a great lady also. Now, one personal information I am giving you. They were not very rich at that time. They belonged to the common families, commoners, and they were actually farmers. Farmers or farming was their main occupation. Okay, his fathers and mothers. But he went to certain schools and colleges. He studied well. Lot of changes happened in his early life, at his childhood life. Then he turned to maths and science and discovered all those things. We are going to study about all the certain factors, how he became Isaac Newton, that is how he got to the place to research on those things or science level things or to discover certain things. From nothing almost, he was nothing. At that time he was a common child going to a school in his early childhood, but he started discovering things from the age of 12, maybe from his high school times. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to deal with the Isaac Newton's whole life events, what happened, at what age, what happened to him, where did he went, who helped him, what are the other things that questioned Newton to become Newton. Okay, we are going to deal with those things in the chapter, but this is the part 1 vlog for this chapter. So I only introduced Sir Isaac Newton, personal and very basic data about him now. So I want you to read the chapter on your own and then come back for the part 2. The part 2 would be coming soon. Okay, that is all for now. Thank you.